Michelle Obama's speech last night where she said that you're in over your head and the wrong president for the country?
She was over her head, and frankly, she should have made the speech live, which she didn't do. She taped it, and it was not only taped, it was taped a long time ago because she had the wrong deaths. And frankly, I wouldn't even be here if it weren't for Barack Obama. See, we're standing in the White House. I wouldn't be in the White House except for Barack Obama because they did a bad job, Biden and Obama. And if they did a good job, I wouldn't be here. She didn't even mention the vice presidential candidate in the speech. And, she gets these fawning reviews. If you gave a real review, it wouldn't be so fawning. I thought it was a very divisive speech, extremely divisive.
Michelle Obama stunned the country with a live speech, framing him as a convicted felon and a threat to democracy. On global news, a fierce rebuttal soon followed rambling, finger-pointing, deflecting blame. But was it conviction or desperation? And why is Melania suddenly missing? What you're about to hear includes real quotes, public footage, and a whole lot of awkward truth. Don't go anywhere, because what comes next is Michelle Obama stepping forward with a warning that quickly became headline news.
We saw this candidate actually bragging about sexually assaulting women. And I can't believe that I'm saying that a candidate for President of the United States has bragged about sexually assaulting women. We have a candidate for President of the United States who over the course of his lifetime, in the course of this campaign, has said things about women that are so shocking, so demeaning.
The moment Michelle delivered it, the hall gasped, then laughed uneasy. Her steady gaze made it land harder. A line late-night writers dream of, yet this one was real. Who even says that out loud? And if you're nodding along or just curious what Michelle's next punch will be, hit subscribe, because trust me, the story only gets tougher from here.
And this little 6-year-old said because the other guy called someone a piggy. And he said, you cannot be president if you call someone a piggy. So even a 6-year-old knows better. A 6-year-old knows that this is not how adults behave. This is not how decent human beings behave. And this is certainly not how someone who wants to be president of the United States behaves.
The room leaned in as Michelle delivered the line. That punch landed with a smile. When a child sees what adults deny, the crowd bursts, half in shock, half in relief.
We are indifferent to his erratic behavior, his obvious mental decline, his history as a convicted felon. Please do not hand our fates over to the likes of Trump, who knows nothing about us, who has shown deep contempt for us. Because a vote for him is a vote against us, against our health, against our worth. A known slumlord, a predator found liable for sexual abuse. All of this while we pick apart Kamala's answers from interviews that he doesn't even have the courage to do, y'all.
At the Kalamazoo rally, her words hit like open court evidence. Then applause rose loudly, but the wait stayed, raising a question. How long can this act stumble on? On stage, the pushback came, called a mistake. Yet Michelle's words went further, linking actions to character and leading straight to her sharpest line.
With your support on November 5th, you know what's nasty to me? Michelle Obama. I always tried to be so nice and respectful. Oh, she opened up a little bit of a box. She opened up a little bit of something. Oh, she was nasty. Ooh. Shouldn't be that way. That was a big mistake that she made.
Donald Trump is the wrong president for our country. He has had more than enough time to prove that he can do the job, but he is clearly in over his head. He cannot meet this moment. He simply cannot be who we need him to be for us.
On stage came a rambling complaint, but Michelle's steady voice cut through like a judge's gavel. When the spotlight turns that sharp, what defense is left? And if you're still with us, don't blink. Hit subscribe because what Michelle just dropped isn't the finale. It's the setup for what comes next.
So do you think Donald Trump is thinking about the consequences for the millions of women who will be living in medical deserts? Does anyone think he has the emotional maturity and foresight to come up with a plan to protect us? Y'all, we are teetering on the edge. Even before these state bans, America was already lagging behind every other wealthy nation on measures like maternal mortality and paid leave.
Michelle's voice carried like a gavel strike, steady and unflinching. Each line exposed the gap between real leadership and a showman lost in his own act.
Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us. See, his limited, narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by the existence of two hard-working, highly educated, successful people who happen to be black. Who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs?
And when Michelle leaned in, her voice stayed calm but cut sharp. The pause drew laughter, like a showman stumbling over the script he wrote himself.
His same old con, doubling down on ugly, misogynistic, racist lies as a substitute for real ideas and solutions that will actually make people's lives better.
At that moment, Michelle's tone sharpened, each word slicing clean. The crowd laughed, like watching a worn-out magician repeat the same tired trick. Let us know in the comments. Should presidential qualifications include moral character or just a knack for chasing ratings?
Many are speaking out. His chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, for example, said, and these are his words, that Trump is fascist to the core. His Joint Chief of Staff. These folks know that nothing this man says or does is funny in any way. So I hope you'll forgive me if I'm a little frustrated that some of us are choosing to ignore Donald Trump's gross incompetence while asking Kamala to dazzle us at every turn.
And at that point, Michelle's tone mixed resolve with weariness, like a conductor steadying the beat, while one section kept playing out of tune.
This about the speech.
We were now up against a bully, challenging the dignity of our country with practically his every utterance.
Crooked Hillary Clinton.
It was dignity I wanted to make an appeal.
This is not normal. This is not politics as usual. This is disgraceful. It is intolerable.
For Mrs. Obama, the stakes could not have been higher. She writes,
I articulated my rage and my fear, along with my faith that with this election, Americans understood the true nature of what they were choosing between.
Michelle spoke with measured force, her eyes fixed, hands firm. Each pause carried weight, and the audience followed like a room hearing Truthland in real time.
Now, within the last hour, President Trump tweeted a response to former First Lady Michelle Obama. We just played part of her speech when she spoke at the Democratic National Convention last night and said the president is over his head. Well, here's how he responded. He tweeted that he would not be here in the beautiful White House if it weren't for the job done by your husband, Barack Obama. Biden was merely an afterthought, a good reason for that very late and unenthusiastic endorsement. My administration and I built the greatest economy in history of any country, turned it off, saved millions of lives, and now am building even greater economy than it was before. Jobs are flowing, NASDAQ is at a record high, and the rest.
And while he rushed to brag with late-night tweets about markets and records, Michelle was already setting the stage for something heavier. What happens if that act gets a sequel?
Well, that surely doesn't sound like freedom to me. Because let me tell you, in any other profession or arena, Trump's criminal track record and amoral character would be embarrassing, shameful, and disqualifying. So, I hope that you will forgive me if I am worried that we will blow this opportunity to finally turn the page on the ugliness once and for all. Because believe me, if Donald Trump is president again, at some point or another, that ugliness will touch all of our lives. And it will not matter what you look like, how you worship, who you love, or how you vote.
She stopped on the word freedom. Let it hang. The room went still, nods moving through the crowd before the applause returned.
But for Trump, we expect nothing at all. No understanding of policy, no ability to put together a coherent argument, no honesty, no decency, no morals. Instead, too many people are willing to write off his childish, mean-spirited antics by saying, well, Trump's just being Trump, rather than question his horrible behavior. Some folks think he's funny. And if you remember, that's exactly how he got elected the first time. Folks gave him a pass and rolled the dice, betting that he couldn't possibly be that bad.
At that line, her hand cut through the air. A few gasps slipped from the crowd. This wasn't humor. It was a reminder of what laughter once cost. The story is, which secret unravels next? Keep watching, the answer's coming.
See, fellas, most of us women, we suck up our pain and we deal with it alone. We don't share our experiences with anyone, not with our partners, or our friends, or even our doctors. Look, a woman's body is complicated business, y'all. Yes, it brings life, and that's a beautiful thing. But even when we are not bearing children, there is so much that can go wrong at any moment.
She leaned closer, voice softening, women nodding back, and outside, all that noise kept buzzing. When has static ever solved anyone's pain?
Do not put our lives in the hands of politicians, mostly men, who have no clue or do not care about what we as women are going through, who don't fully grasp the broad-reaching health implications that their misguided policies will have on our health outcomes. The only people who have standing to make these decisions are women with the advice of their doctors. We are the ones with the knowledge and experience to know what we need. So please, do not hand our fates over to the likes of Trump, who knows nothing about us, who has shown deep contempt for us. Because a vote for him is a vote against us, against our health, against our worth.
And as the hall erupted, the point was clear. She wasn't drawing battle lines for one party, she was sketching out what's left of democracy's guardrails.
So, I am praying that those of us contemplating voting for Trump or not voting at all will snap out of whatever fog we are in. I am praying that we consider the decades of sacrifice and struggle by all of our ancestors, the folks who marched and sacrificed and shed their blood for us. We have to ask ourselves, is a vote for Trump or no vote at all the way we honor their lives? And if that's the case, well, that surely doesn't sound like freedom to me. Because let me tell you, in any other profession or arena, Trump's criminal track record and amoral character would be embarrassing, shameful, and disqualifying.
Michelle's voice pressed on sacrifice. And you could almost hear Whoopi's look, that mix of disbelief and truth-telling echoing through the room.
You get to choose. You get to use your judgment and cast your vote for yourself and the women in your life. Remember, women, standing up for what is best for us can make the difference in this election. So let us use our voices in these final days to make it plain to the men in our lives that we need to stand not with Trump, but with us. We need them to vote for the only candidate in this race who will protect our lives.
Can anyone ignore that kind of call? She pointed straight ahead, her voice tightening, and the room knew silence would count against them. And with the audience watching closely, the very next words ensured the story would not fade quietly.
It'd be dangerous just to bring them back to their countries. Their countries weren't accepting them back until I came. You know, with Barack Hussein Obama, I call him the Great Divider. He's the Great Divider. And he hit, and Michelle hit me. I was so nice to her. Out of respect, I was so nice. She hit me the other day. I was going to say to my people, am I allowed to hit her now? They said, take it easy, sir. Sir, take it. My geniuses, I'm telling you, they said, just take it easy. Oh, what do you mean? She said bad about me. I can't hit.
The crowd's reaction mixed laughter with unease. A silence heavier than words captured at Michelle Hit Me NC rally.
Michelle Obama gives a speech, and everyone loves it. It's fantastic. They think she's absolutely great. My wife, Melania, gives the exact same speech. And people get on her case. And I don't get it. I don't know why. And it wasn't her fault. Stand up, Melania, come on. She took a lot of abuse. Oh, I'm in trouble when I go home tonight. She didn't know about that one.
Laughter rippled, but it felt uneasy, like watching a magician blame the mirror when the trick falls flat. Even Melania's silence said more than applause could. From outrage to resolve, Michelle didn't just condemn the abuse, she flipped the script, and her next words drew the loudest cheers of the night.
This is disgraceful. It is intolerable. And it doesn't matter what party you belong to, Democrat, Republican, Independent, no woman deserves to be treated this way. None of us deserves this kind of abuse. Because let's be very clear, strong men, men who are truly role models, don't need to put down women to make themselves feel powerful. People who are truly strong lift others up. People who are truly powerful bring others together. And that is what we need in our next president.
She drew the line sharp. Dignity is not partisan. The applause rose because everyone knew this was bigger than politics. It was about respect. Finally, Michelle Obama's words cut through the noise like a steady drumbeat, reminding Americans that 2024 is not just about politics, but about the values that shape daily life. From healthcare to civil rights, from women's voices to the fight against division, she framed the stakes as a test of dignity, honesty, and basic respect. Her call was simple: don't dismiss cruelty as comedy. Don't excuse corruption as business as usual. The choice ahead is about who we are and what we will become. And in a moment when cynicism feels easy, her voice pressed for something harder: hope, participation, and the courage to defend democracy before it slips away. The content in this video includes public statements, real footage, and documented records. Names weren't invented. Quotes weren't altered. If it feels uncomfortable, it's probably because it's true. If you're tired of the noise and ready for the truth, hit subscribe, drop a comment, share your thoughts, and pass this video on. Because the next election isn't just about politics, it's about who gets to define reality.